Supporting player on Stefan Dunn's Closet Monster, this was premiered at TIFF, got accolades at TIFF, and now we're in Marrakech.
No, right?
And it makes no sense.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it is in a way, but I won't go into the reasons why I think, oh wow, I'm kind of surprised that this film is playing here, but you're well versed in film, Canadian television. You're a veteran actor, we can call it that. A lot of people would know you from television's Hannibal. A lot of people stop you on the street, say, hey, like, take 2 steps back, and you were recently in Alejandro Inabar's Regression, which is coming out next year. I don't know where this premiered.
Regression?
Yeah.
I don't think it's played anywhere yet.
It hasn't?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
I think it comes out in theaters December, is the last I heard.
Okay. Well, it's a pretty big filmmaker and Imagine role. I was wondering, since you have all this, you've collected all this experience, how is it working with a first-time filmmaker such as Stefan, and what did you see, like, from your point of view? Yeah,
I think working with first-time directors is a privilege. Always, I feel like they've got an energy. I mean, they haven't been beaten down by anything.
Yes, the system.
So, and it's obviously if it's their first film, it's always personal and they're always passionate about it. It's not like they're like, I don't know, I guess this. It's like a thing that has been in their life and in their heart for forever.
Yeah.
And now it's finally coming to fruition. And so it's refreshing, especially when you're doing TV or something like that, where
there's a grind.
Yeah, I mean, you're part of a machine, like a production machine, and that's not to say it doesn't have soul and it's not some heartless thing, but working on an independent feature with a first-time director is always refreshing for that. And Steven specifically, I'd seen all his shorts.
Great.
So he's extremely skilled already. I mean, it's not like he fell off the bus and decided to direct a movie. I mean, he knew what he was doing. He's extremely skilled, and he's amazing, I think, specifically at being vulnerable with his work. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think it comes across. I mean, his movies have wide scopes. I mean, they've got things like talking cute hamsters, and then blood and gore and this darkness. And because he has one, he can do the other, and they balance out. And the reason all that works is because it comes from here. It's not just... he is a visual director. He's a director with musicality, but it's all from him. It's from his heart, and it's from this vulnerability. So that's why it's rich, and it's not just.
Were you able to find that in your first read of the script? How did this film come to you? How did this part come to you?
It came. I received a script and told that he wanted to meet with me, and I immediately watched his shorts after reading the script, and that informed everything as well. And I just loved the script. I loved the role as well. It was I don't know how to. If someone had written something that was just a guy who hated gay people because I'm not. I mean, of course that exists.
Yeah.
I don't. It exists, but I couldn't relate to it even to the point of being able to successfully pretend to be that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You need shades of gray. You want a fully fledged character.
Absolutely, and I felt that this was that had that in spades. It was it was just a guy who loves his son.
Yeah, I wrote down that he's an absent father to Oscar, but as much as there's this corrosive element, he's also a very caring person, and you see that in both stages of Oscar's life. I like, it's not black or white. It is really, this father's going through a lot of personal turmoil on his own end. I was wondering how that informs that, how that relationship with Oscar informs how the father reacts towards his circle of friends. There's a lot of scenes where you find yourself in scenes where you're at odds with the other character set, his good female friend, his potential boyfriend, if you want to call it that. I was wondering yeah, from that perspective, like how does the father deal with his own junk, let's say,
Yeah.
and then able to figure out or inform himself about that world through other characters?
Well,
Does that make any
certainly,
sense?
yeah, I think so. I mean, he's never gotten over his wife leaving him,
Mm-hmm.
and so his son is all he has, and he's desperate. I mean, as the rift grows between most father and sons around that age of 16, 17, but in this one particularly strong because he has this fear that all each other has in their lives essentially, and his son is gay and creative and all these things that are terrifying to him because
Mm-hmm.
if the son leaves him or just if it continues to grow, then he's going to be terrified. So he becomes intrusive, I think, to his friends, trying to find out what he can find out.
Yeah. He's grabbing at straws in a way.
He's grabbing
yeah.
at straws, and he's just terrified. He's just, I play a lot of jerks, so I often find myself defending them, which maybe makes me look like an asshole, because I get it, that he's not, maybe for a lot of people, a redeemable guy.
He has his faults.
He certainly has his faults, and he does some terrible things in the movie, so I don't want to sound like a total apologist for what he's doing, but I think he just loves his son.
Yeah, and I think
Doesn't know what to do about
I think although it's not overtly apparent, you do get a sense of that throughout the film,
Mm-hmm.
even though he is a jerk.
That's in the script, I think, as well.
Yeah.
That's the amazing gray area that you were talking about. But when you're playing these assholes, that's the thing you've got to search for. I don't know if I can swear, but
Yes, yes,
Right.
please do.
these stupid jerk assholes. You find the gray area and really pump that up. It makes everything come to life a little bit.
I was wondering if you could take us through the most difficult sequence on a acting level for this film.
I think, it's hard to pick one.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that again, when you're doing movies like this that are small, everyone's putting their heart into it. So you're never just showing up to work and going and sort of running through the motions or being like, oh, this scene is simple. I think I get it. It's this and this. You're really trying to go as deep as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly Connor is an incredible actor. A young guy, but so skilled and has such an old soul and works his ass off. And Steven as well. So every scene is you're pushing yourself. And it doesn't feel right until that happens, where it starts to feel scary and difficult, and you're vulnerable, and you're like, is this good or just doing it? And so the scenes start to fly that way. It's hard to choose one. I think the first fight scene I remember having with Connor in the kitchen was we did that scene many times, many different ways, and it was tough. It almost feels that's his first bit of abuse.
Yeah.
And it's shocking. I think it kind of comes out of not nowhere, but it's abrupt. And it was hard to do that over and over again, just for me emotionally, just because
it is unsettling.
It's unsettling to do that.
Yeah. I'll end with you've had the chance to travel with the film. Obviously at the premiere at TIFF, I imagine you were there. Now you're in Marrakech. Perhaps there was film festivals in between that. What's the reception been like from your point of view?
It's good. I've never been a part of a film where, I've done some comedies and things that where you're in the audience and you're like, oh, it's playing well. Like here, you could hear a pin drop and you're like, I think that's good. And afterwards, people are like maybe a little. Their eyes are a little red, and they're just like a little like, oh, and you're like, I think that's good.
Yeah, deflated is good sometimes.
It's odd. It's an odd experience when the audience feels like maybe they've been kicked in the soul a little bit, and you're like, good.
That was part of that.
Good. We did good. It's a weird sensation.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you very much, Aaron, and congratulations once again on the film and the supporting character and Stefan's work.